You may have noticed that there was a bunch of camera announcements recently. Didn't even know that February was a month where all camera companies gathered together much like teenagers do on a slumber party. Striving for the best gear is less important than striving for the best you.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
I, of course, wouldn't be caught dead filming myself on anything less than the best gear. We're on the Nikon Z6 III with the new firmware. We will start there. We're in 6K RAW, obviously. That's needed for a living room. Canon EF 50mm 1.2 adapted with a firmware. So, new firmware. Thank you, Nikon. This is your first firmware for us. I've been waiting. I heard the rumors that there was like all this firmware action in Nikon. You wouldn't believe they keep updating year after year. And it's like, cool. So if I buy a Nikon Z6 III, I can't wait for the new features coming. Here's what we got. Shutter angle. Thank you. Glad it's in there for you cinema dorks. How I use the camera is with custom modes though. So I already have my things set and I'm in aperture priority, thank you very much, when I'm outside. So I don't need your life and ND filters and all that. So like, cool that it's in there, don't really need it. What you didn't fix was all the devastating flaws that we still have in here. Like, I cannot to this day punch in to check focus while recording video. Your ZF can do it. It's a photography camera. You can do that in video. I can't. That seems like a deal-breaking omission that you left out by mistake. And I'm trying to scream at the clouds saying, can we have that? I kind of need it. I wanted it for this shot because I have zebras on my face. Trying to punch in. Here's another thing that Nikon can't do. When I punch in to check focus and then I back up here, it does not continue to autofocus. So I can't check the zebras accurately. Sony does it. I can't see zebras and peaking at the same time. That's annoying. There's a lot of little things that were not fixed, but apparently we have no more flat shadow flickering. Is that even a thing? Does anyone care? Apparently it's better. I never really cared. Did they fix the autofocus quirk where it goes to your nose? It just goes too far and then hunts back. I'm not sure. We just switched to a native Z lens, 50mm 21.4. But like there was a lot of like pulsing as if it's not even phase detect. Did they work on that? Maybe they fixed it. If you've done something, thank you. If not, however, go to hell. And when it comes to all the announcements, I've already made videos covering most of them. I just have some extra thoughts. And then we'll get into why your life is more important than the gear. You should be focusing on improving stuff, but you're not, nor am I. Panasonic S1R2. I think it's rightfully where it deserves to be. It's a decent camera. It's now Panasonic's best full frame camera. At least you're doing like 4K 120. That's cool. If all you care about is the best image quality, you can make it shine. I saw Cam Mackey's review. He was color grading. He's in heaven. Like he says the color fidelity is like, that sensor is beautiful. And if that's what your focus is on, I'm with you. It's gonna look fantastic. I just think it's kind of a missed opportunity when Panasonic's newest camera doesn't even match cameras that already exist. And we're already kind of down on Panasonic. They're very slow to release cameras. We're kind of waiting for something to wow us, and it doesn't look like they're ever gonna leapfrog any other company where it's like, wow, that's so much better. Like Sony a7S III leapfrogged a bunch of people. It was a big leap for mankind, and it's still to this day, you could argue for certain situations, if you want 4K 120 and HD 240, it's hard to beat that combo, isn't it? Still to this day. Most can't even do it. You would have to say R5 II finally matched Sony a7S III and surpassed it in other ways. But like those two specs with the autofocus reliability, it's tough to beat that thing. I got a question the other day asking if the Panasonic S1R2 with the Sigma 300 to 600 24 would be the ultimate wildlife system now. Kind of, if you could carry it. The thing is like 5 kilograms total, that setup. I was sick of the 3 kilograms of the Sony. No thank you with that zoom. So it's like, I don't know how you would even have joy and smile outside. Like, you're in nature, you should be happy. You'd be miserable, you'd be breaking your back. You could kill yourself out there. Back injury, you're up this cliff and you're like, I can't even get down. And you're surviving off food that squirrels bring you, and will they even bring you? Have you ever fed them? You think you're getting food back and you never fed a squirrel? So like, could it be good? I don't know, it'd have good stable, 4K 120, not bad. But like, everything else is like, who cares? You don't have 8K 60 for like super sharp punch-in and slow. You have no HD 240. I talked to a Panasonic rep. We had a meeting for the S5 II, and I was telling him like, HD 240 like is really fun. I'm hoping to see like HD 480 or something soon. He's like, I don't think anyone will use more than 120. And so like, they're never gonna do it. They, as a company, are allergic to slower slow motion rates. And that's not a company I want to be a part of. Now, even though my last video asked you if I was too negative, and this video is clearly showing that I have not grown as a person at all since that video, and I refuse to change. As we noticed, like, all the things released sounds kind of negative because I don't think you should waste your money. What really happened? Sony's new lens is 16mm 1.8. It's flat and clinical. The Batis is better. I know on paper it looked super expensive, but used it's much cheaper than this Sony lens right now. Batis all the way. What do you need a 1.8 for vlogging? Like, you ruined the whole vlog. Aren't you going places? The funniest thing about any vlog is the reactions in the background and people waving. I just want a bit of separation, and that's what a 3D popping lens will give you, even if you stop it down. So it's like that magic look with the Zeiss Batis, not this new Sony. And then that Bazooka 400 to 800. Glorious, I think I'd rather have that than the 200 to 600, just for the fact that they balanced it better in the middle, and it's longer reach. Okay, but it's very heavy. It's not something I want to buy. The manual focus Zeiss primes. Did you read that interview on DP Review this morning? Man, they are lost as a I had no idea they were so fragile. Like, they were like, oh, when the whole 2020 happened and the pandemic, and we thought the camera industry was dying, so we backed out. Like, that's not what someone with a passion for photography says. They sink with the ship. They are willing to die with this industry because they love it so much. Like, who cares? So what? You're not gonna sell thousands of units? Well, whatever. We still have to show you the Zeiss pop. We're here for that. It's like, and then they release manual focus, heavy ass primes, heavier than any autofocusing lens, and they lack pop. Somehow they've managed to like forget that Zeiss's only purpose is to pop at you. What happened to Zeiss? I don't know, so don't expect much in the future from them. But if they like add a couple things to the Batis lineup, you'll have my praises, and I'll be looking for something. A fast 24mm 1.4 Batis, come on. Nikon releasing that power zoom Tony 4 thing. Most of my firmware updates were for that lens that I'll never buy. I don't need some flat, heavy ass thing that power zooms my way through life, and I add digital zooms on top of it. Like, for who? Canon with the V1. I didn't even notice that the tripod screw blocks the battery door. Like, how are we still making that mistake? We've seen it happen, and we're like, this is terrible. How every time you want the battery out, you have to take your tripod off, or worse, if you have the Ulanzi clips, you need a tool to unscrew that every time. That's on deal-breaking flaw territory. That's dead on arrival stuff. Like, what are you doing? It could look glorious, but like, it's an afterthought. People are saying it's like a cutout of the R7 sensor. Like, it's not even designed for video at all, but it's your video-centric thing. I'm so bored with the industry that it's not even exciting. Like, every release, I'm dumbfounded, and I want to be positive. I want to be gushing, because we have so much good gear. But the problem is, we already have it, and it's old, and so if you're focused on gear, you're gonna be quite disappointed if you're someone like me, because all the best stuff is already there. Was that hair that fell on me? We already have EF glass, it's not getting better than that. So it's like, okay, how do you push on as a camera channel focused on gear if all the new gear is worse than what you already had? And that brings us to, you should be focusing on developing yourself and your craft, and whatever it is you're shooting, go do that more. And I am doing. I brought you tons of stuff, and you wait for the reviews coming that I thought I could just release them soon. I gotta wait till like April or something. It's bullshit. So I have 3 amazing videos coming that you'll never see. I'm debating getting a green screen. I think it would add a lot to the show if the boardroom meetings, I just have these ideas of like finding pictures of like scenes and then chopping my head off and inserting me in, and it would just add so much. I could do a whole movie with that type of style. It's a lot more editing, and it already hurts me to even think about it, but I saw one. I need something small so it's collapsible, and they have those now. You just pull it up and then strap it down. I saw a used one, he was like, minor crease. There's nothing minor about that crease. What, did you run into it head first? That'll never come out. That's deal breaking right in the head area where you would stand. You'll see a line always. You suck at your job. There's nothing minor about that. So like, they're not cheap. They're like 200 plus tax Canadian. It's bullshit, but I might regret it doing that. All the extra editing, I'll be like, oh my God, this is terrible. Now my wigs, I'll have to like cut them off somehow. It'll look weird. I don't know, man. So all these new camera announcements, they're fun. It's a fun time of dopamine rushes where it's like, oh, what's that? Oh, look, Zeiss is, Sony has a new, oh, that's heavy. It's a lot of ups and downs, like Bitcoin technology. It's fun times to be a part of, but if you are dependent on gear making you happy, and like that's your main focus, that's not gonna end well for you. Like, you have to discover the fire within. And I know I've focused way too much on gear over the past like 5 years or so since I came back from Thailand, but it's been fun. And I do enjoy comparing and reviewing stuff, and that is my work. Where's your work? Do you have a site where I can see your work? It's this site, it's YouTube. I do stuff. Not today, but some days I've done stuff. Focus on bringing joy, and just your desire to increase yourself is way better than upgrading your camera, I promise you. So like, I'm really looking internally to do that. I want to make more skits, and I have been doing that. That movie scene with my son, come on. That was good times. Perfectly color graded. Cam Mackey would be like, how did you do that? He actually sent me several emails just asking, I think. He was like, how did you color grade that, bro? That's amazing stuff. I wish I had your skills. And he does wish he had my skills, and he doesn't. He can't even do this. Cam, you're a rookie. Grow up. Do something better. Just learn. Like, there's sliders and stuff in DaVinci Resolve. There's all these things you can tweak and pull, and shadows lifted, and adding colors to shadow. Look into that for your next thing. You can add different colors to black and make it better. So like, you're welcome. You are welcome, my friend. So I really want to be more positive about the industry, and this video is the exact opposite of that, and I'm already ashamed to upload it, but I'm hoping that some companies do release things that are like, wow, that's amazing. Sony's due for a leapfrog camera. It's coming fairly soon. I'm pretty sure of it. It's gonna be like, whoa. Unless they go in the wrong direction, which is what companies seem to be doing, this modern direction. We're very clinical, and we miss the fun, the nostalgic times where colors were vintage and the dynamic range was swift. We need to get back to the basics, real territory here. That's why I'm afraid of the green screen, because it's all fake. It's gonna be very fake, but I could make it funny. So I appreciate wood and nature and natural, and so getting the green screen is kind of the opposite of that, but it would be funny at least. So focus on having fun and bringing your audience joy, because we're all YouTubers. Do you agree? Was there anything released that gave you a dopamine hit and you pounced on a pre-order? I'm not that guy ever. I'm waiting a year. If I see it used, okay, cool, maybe I will do that. How you doing? The camera industry dies because of me, because I never support new companies. I'm so sorry, but you're too expensive. Release something at used prices sometime. Just release used gear after you donate Bitcoin. Subscribe for my understanding.